Now, the other thing that's a factor sort of in line with biomechanics is sort of how you absorb forces. So one of the things that we have to understand is depending on the joint, some joints are well controlled by muscle and some don't get controlled by muscle as much. And that helps differentiate how they absorb forces. So one of the things is if we have a joint that's designed in order to have muscle take most of that force and not the joint, and we're using the joint to take the force, again, same thing. It puts a lot more load on the joint over time and therefore can wear it away a little faster. And a perfect example of this is if you watch somebody walk. If you were to ask them to sort of tiptoe quietly like they were sneaking out of their house, you would see that they're absorbing these forces through the muscle because they're quietly absorbing the ground. In comparison, if you ever watch somebody who's older and weaker and maybe a little overweight, they might stomp the ground and sort of accept those forces through the bones. So as the bone transmits from one to the other, that's creating compressive force in the joint and therefore speeding up the breakdown of that joint. Lastly, one of the things that could be a factor is simply genetics. Are we born with a predisposition for arthritis, particularly at a certain joint where our parents may have had arthritis at that joint? Now, one of the things with this is you can sort of see through the science that is general consensus that arthritis is genetic. So if we look at someone's parents, we could sort of see the likelihood that they're going to get arthritis at that particular joint. However, if we consider one of the factors that our parents also give us the biomechanics, the muscle makeup, and things like that, as well, we can sort of see that there might also be a correlation with the fact that we have similar biomechanics and similar adaptations as to absorbing forces through those joints. So we don't necessarily know, is it just simply genetics and it's totally against us or for us in certain cases, or is it some sort of factor that we were handed down the biomechanics that our parents gave us that may have led to the things that we have. So the general consensus is that about 60 to 70% of orthopedic arthritis is genetic. And to some degree, we would be able to say that in that case, there's not a whole lot we could do. But if we consider what we just talked about, you can sort of see that there are these factors that we can play with and manipulate and hopefully improve and therefore decrease our chance of arthritis. So it's not to say that there's nothing that we can do. Now, how much we can do, we don't really know. And sometimes it takes a lot of work to get a small gain. But why not try and do the things that you can in order to put yourself in a better position and reduce your chances of getting arthritis?